Hi, welcome to today's speech. This is for speech class. Here we go. Okay. How many of you would like to increase the mileage in your car right now?
Aye.
Yeah. How would you like to double the mileage in your car?
I love it.
Okay. Well, you can, according to those who have built a device called an electrolyzer that you can actually get parts for from your local hardware store. Now, an electrolyzer, I must say, is not really a scientific term. Electrolyzer is sort of an urban term, along with other things like HHO or dihydroxy. But I'll explain what those are in just a moment. An electrolyzer specifically is a device made to separate hydrogen and oxygen from water by a process called electrolysis, which I'll explain, for the specific purpose of increasing your gas mileage. Now let me go through and explain how that works. First of all, what is electrolysis? The main part of this whole process. Well, electrolysis, if you run electric current through water, what will happen is it'll break the bonds of the hydrogen and oxygen, break them apart to where they become gases. These gases rise up to the top, are captured, and then fed into the air intake of your engine for fuel. Now, engines run on fuel gasoline for right now, but in actuality they can run on a variety of different fuels. You've been hearing about ethanol now. It's a different type of fuel. Well, they'll also run with very slight modification. Your car can actually run on pure hydrogen. And the whole process as it goes through will spit out pretty much water vapor. Okay, so the process of this is not really to run it specifically all on hydrogen, but to have this gas, which I mentioned the term earlier, dihydroxy, because as you break apart hydrogen and oxygen in the water, there's 2 hydrogen molecules for every 1 oxygen. So what you're getting is 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part oxygen going here. As it goes into, and that's pretty much the basis of electrolysis, as it goes in here, it displaces the gasoline that your car would use. I'll explain that in just a moment too. Water alone is actually not conductive, okay? Pure water especially is not conductive. So there's other things you can add to the water to make it conductive. Let me name 3 chemicals, okay, that you can add, still very common chemicals that you can find in your house, anywhere. The first is sodium chloride, which is otherwise known as salt. Then there's sodium bicarbonate you can use, which is known as baking soda. And the last is sodium hydroxide, which is lye, which is actually the best to use for this process. Now, there's a lot of electrolyzer plans out on the internet, but to find really good ones, you're going to need to find or go to certain websites. There's one name you're going to want to look up. It's a website, www.bobboyce.org. He has built many. He explains the whole process, and he has a whole group that drives all over California with these huge electrolyzers in their trunk powering their cars. Now, there's some other ones, do-it-yourself sites called Instructables. You can go there, especially if you look up the term HHO, which I mentioned in the earlier part of my speech. There's an article in there, HHO car adaptation, and that is a very good source of someone who has actually built one of these, put it in their car, and it has it working. All right, eHow is another website. There's an article by Jacqueline Genty that describes this. And there's also, along with that, people who have debunked this theory or called it a myth and says it doesn't work. Okay? But everything is not without skeptics. Popular Mechanics did a report with Dateline NBC that actually went to debunk this whole theory. But there's more people out there who have done this, and still have them running today. So, this is an electrolyzer. Now when you hear the term, you'll know what it is. You simply use your 12 volts from your car to power this device to make hydrogen in place of, once it gets into your engine, the hydrogen explodes as gas would. Your car sees that explosion, says, whoa, that's too much explosion for the amount of gas we have going, backs off the gas. There you get your fuel economy, or your better gas mileage. The more of this you have going on, the more gas displacement you have, the more chemicals you use in here to make it more conductive, the more electricity, the more gas mileage. So, there it is, plain and simple. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you can actually triple your gas mileage. Thank you.